Tonight, one of the most drastic cabinet reconfigurations of Justin Trudeau's 8 years in power. Diverting the narrative to the cost of living crunch.
So putting forward the strongest possible economic team that are going to matter to Canadians, this is what this day is about.
Justin Trudeau has fired a lot of ministers today, admitted his government is broken.
The roster revamp and ripple effects. Actor Kevin Spacey cleared of sex assault allegations.
I am humbled by the outcome today.
Whether the legal victory paves the way for a career comeback. Plus, the reflections on the death of Sinead O'Connor. The distinctive singer's rise to stardom and tumultuous personal life.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina.
Good evening, everyone. The Prime Minister's major political reset today was meant to be a signal to voters that his government is prioritizing affordability. But there are questions tonight whether changing the faces will lead to long-term change. 7 rookie MPs have been promoted to Justin Trudeau's cabinet, which, excluding him, continues to be split evenly between men and women. We have analysis on what the moves mean, but we begin tonight with CTV's Kevin Gallagher on who's going where.
Prime Minister.
Looking forward to getting to work.
Justin Trudeau met with his team hours after the major political reset, involving 30 ministers sworn in to new roles.
We know times are challenging, but this is the team that is going to be able to continue the hard work, rolling up their sleeves and delivering for Canadians.
With her corporate and financial governance experience, Anita Anand was named Treasury Board President.
It's making life increasingly more affordable for Canadians while making sure we support the most vulnerable in our country.
But I don't think that the government is actually going to change what it does. And I think that raises really fundamental questions as to how much this can actually be characterized, despite the scope of it, a change shuffle.
Chrystia Freeland keeps her job as finance minister, even though the Liberal government has been accused of being out of touch on cost of living.
Yes, Justin Trudeau is admitting that he broke the economy, but he's trying to blame it on 7 or 8 ministers that he fired today.
Sean Fraser moves from immigration to housing. The 39-year-old is now seized with finding solutions to a housing market younger Canadians find increasingly out of reach.
8 years of the Liberal government on housing has been a failure. Frankly, things have gotten worse rather than better.
The shakeup hit security portfolios as well, with Bill Blair moving into defense and Trudeau's most trusted friend, Dominic LeBlanc, taking over public safety. Human rights lawyer Arif Virani is one of 7 new cabinet members and becomes Canada's first Muslim justice minister.
Richie Valdez.
While small business minister Richie Valdez becomes the country's first Filipina frontbencher.
I was trying to hold back my tears, but I couldn't because it is a very powerful moment.
This is the first major cabinet shuffle since the 2021 election, a team the Prime Minister wants to keep in place until the next one, scheduled in 2 years. Omar?
All right, Kevin, thank you. And joining us now with more on what the moves mean is CTV's chief political correspondent, Vassy Kapelos. Vassy, one of the most significant switches today was to see Anita Anand, a high-performing, high-profile defense minister, switch into the potentially lower-profile Treasury portfolio. Why move her into this role, and what's the reaction been?
Yeah, Omar, it's really hard to see how this isn't a demotion. Anand was front and center on big stuff like Russia's war on Ukraine, but she was also openly talking about and somewhat organizing for an eventual leadership bid and kind of pushing hard on the center to spend more on defense. So I'm told that was at play. I'm also getting text messages from people in DND, and one word sums up their reaction tonight. They're stunned.
Not mincing their words. A lot of Canadians looking at this political makeover might be asking today, how meaningful is it really? What are the main takeaways?
Well, there's two big takeaways for me, Omar. The first is simple. It's an election. The crop of new ministers, they give us a signal about where the Liberals think their electoral fortunes are in the cities and in the suburbs around those cities. It also tells us, though, the other big takeaway for me is that the economy is where the next election will be fought on. They want to push back against the Conservatives' gains that have so clearly been made in some of those key electoral areas on the issue of cost of living. The question, however, is whether or not this shuffle is significant or substantial enough to actually get that message through to Canadians who are struggling with affordability at this moment. Omar?
All right, Vashi Capello's in Ottawa tonight. Vashi, thank you. Seniors in Manitoba's care homes endured physical and sexual abuse, and the government agency tasked to protect them failed at its job. That's according to a scathing report by the province's Auditor General that has prompted swift action. CTV's Manitoba Bureau Chief Jill Makashon has the details.
Behind the walls of Manitoba's personal care homes, cases of abuse ignored. The government agency created to protect seniors failed them. It will be disbanded.
What the report revealed, specifically as it relates to abuse of elderly, is sickening and repulsive.
Manitoba's Auditor General found seniors were punched, beaten, or sexually assaulted, but the case is determined unfounded for abuse by the Protection for Persons in Care Office.
We even saw evidence of where investigators were made to change their conclusion in their file.
The government agency hasn't filed a public report since 2016, and some cases dating back 6 years still haven't been investigated.
Said to them, I have pictures of bruises on my father.
Diana Klassen's father was identified as an abuse victim last year at this personal care home in Winnipeg. A criminal investigation ultimately led to charges against 2 workers. Klassen still doesn't know where the case stands. Her father died as the investigation began.
If they are being abused by the very people who are supposed to help them, somebody needs to be watching out for that. Somebody needs to be reporting it.
And the fact that abuse cases may have never been properly investigated may result in more than bureaucratic changes.
It may still be open to criminal charges. And remember, many of these offenders may still be out continuing on the abuse.
As the government begins to disband the existing agency, a special commissioner will guide the creation of a new one, an independent investigation office, and work will be done to review past files of abuse and neglect. Jill Makashon, CTV News, Winnipeg.
There was a shocking admission today involving the Calgary Stampede. The organization admitted to full liability in a class action lawsuit alleging that it allowed an adult staffer to sexually abuse teenage boys, leading to a partial settlement. Here's CTV's Mark Villani.
They're the Calgary Stampede's marquee performers, but 6 underage male members of the Young Canadians fell victim to Philip Harima, an adult staffer sentenced to 10 years in prison in 2018 for sexually expletive acts, luring, and abuse between 1992 and 2014. But a class action lawsuit filed against the Stampede alleges offenses dated back to the 1980s. After previously denying any wrongdoing, the Stampede now accepts full liability of negligence and breach of duty, partially settling with plaintiffs and agreeing to pay 100% of damages. We can't change the events of the past, but we are deeply sorry for how the victims have been affected. Our commitment to those impacted is to do everything possible to guard against anything similar ever happening again, and we've taken meaningful steps to enhance the safety and wellness of our youth participants. The victims can't be identified under a publication ban, but their scars can be seen in these statements. So far, we're just supposed to take their word that they've made changes to these programs to address the culture that allowed what happened for almost 30 years. Personally, I don't really trust their ability that they know how to make changes. And those who work to prevent children abuse say safety measures to protect kids should always be top of mind.
If we don't respond, there can be significant long-term impacts of trauma, chronic physical and mental health issues. And when we respond quickly and when we respond with lots of support, kids have a much better chance.
The irreversible damage still haunts many of Harima's victims to this day. It's something that should have never happened, and we have got to take steps to address it and make sure it never happens again. It's been challenging. I don't really feel relieved just yet. There's still quite a bit of work to do. Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Some terrifying moments in New York at a construction site in Midtown Manhattan when a crane burst into flames hundreds of meters above street level. It was holding a massive slab of concrete, and as the fire raged, the cable holding it snapped. At least 6 people were injured. Here's CTV's Heather Wright.
Dramatic video shows the moment a crane on top of a Manhattan high-rise collapses, crashing 45 stories to the ground below.
As you see from the debris on the street, this could have been much worse.
At around 7:30 this morning, a fire broke out in the engine compartment of the crane, which was lifting 16 tons of concrete. The crane operator was inside the cabin at the time.
That crane operator saw that the fire started and tried to extinguish it. So we give a lot of credit to the crane operator, but the fire overwhelmed that operator and had to exit the crane.
As the top part crumpled and fell, the crane hit a neighboring building.
As I'm in the building, I could have swore it was my last day.
Sending workers and pedestrians running.
It was something out of a movie, you see, something out of a movie.
Why we're so lucky is not only the boom falling to the street, but all of that concrete could have struck civilians, and this has spread out throughout the area here. So we were extremely lucky this morning.
According to the New York Times, the crane that collapsed was marked with the name Loma, a company that has been involved in several other high-profile accidents, including a 2008 collapse in New York that killed 2 construction workers.
There are lots of people who are part of the crane operation. There's an engineer that writes up the plans. There's essentially a general contractor. There's the user. We will be looking at all of those folks.
The Department of Building says the crane, the tower under construction, and the neighboring building are all structurally sound, but the investigation is just beginning. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
A state of emergency has been lifted in Nova Scotia 5 days after catastrophic flooding left entire regions submerged. People slowly made their way back home, finding out what they had lost.
Got a hope chest down there, and it had stuff from high school, my yearbooks, pictures, notes from friends and stuff, and that's all gone too.
Also emerging are stories of desperate escapes.
And so he was sitting here calling for help, and then all of a sudden you saw his car slide a few feet, and he was very, very frantically calling for help. And then all of a sudden the car just started rolling, and he jumped out.
3 others swept away and their cars did not make it, and crews are still searching for the 1 person missing for 5 days. Officials say the flooding was even more rare than they previously thought, now calling it a once-in-a-thousand-year event. A combination of thunderstorms and sweltering heat are in the forecast for much of southern Ontario. And in Europe, wildfires are spreading in mainland Greece, claiming more lives tonight. CTV's Alberta Bureau Chief Bill Fortier on the scorching temperatures on both sides of the Atlantic.
Already under blistering heat, southern Ontario could see humidex values around 40 by Friday.
It's a little too hot for me, so I try and stay inside. The heat's definitely something. It's been a wild one.
Southern Alberta has also been hit by an extreme heat wave in recent days. And in BC, the coroner is investigating 3 deaths potentially linked to heat. South of the border, more than 100 million people are now under heat alerts, resulting in a surge in patients at Arizona hospitals.
We always expect to see some of these cases, but the numbers this year are just off the charts.
The hot, dry conditions too much even for some cacti.
We have seen them suffering the effects of extreme heat and drought.
And it's being felt as far north as Minneapolis, where heat is being blamed for buckling this highway. Record-breaking temperatures are also hitting Europe and Asia. Tokyo has surpassed 35 degrees 8 times already this month. The heat is also creating prime conditions for wildfire. In Algeria, the smoke is so thick you can barely see the fire near this highway. Flames have torn through towns, killing at least 34 people. The people who were in these cars wanted to escape, says this resident, but unfortunately they were overtaken by the flames. As firefighters in Greece work under that country's scorching heat wave, 2 more people have been killed in wildfires north of Athens. And a new study from the World Weather Attribution Initiative supports what many others have said. The extreme temperatures gripping the globe are firmly linked to human-caused climate change.
I would just say that, look at the science and believe in science.
That study also used tree rings and other natural climate records and found already this month is likely the hottest the planet has seen in about 120,000 years. Omar.
All right, Bill, thank you. Coming up.
I'm enormously grateful to the jury.
A tearful Kevin Spacey acquitted of all sexual assault charges. Plus, a whistleblower's mystifying claims under oath on UFO sightings. Actor Kevin Spacey was found not guilty of sexual assault charges today in London after a 4-week trial where he was accused of offenses involving 4 men. Here's CTV's Heather Butts.
Oscar-winning actor Kevin Spacey walked out of court emotional after his acquittal.
I'm enormously grateful to the jury for having taken the time to examine all of the evidence and all of the facts carefully before they reach their decision.
Spacey took the stand in his own defense, denying the accusations. He had faced 9 charges, including multiple counts of sexual assault. Spacey was accused of committing the offenses between 2001 and 2013, a time when he was working as artistic director at London's Old Vic Theatre.
I imagine that many of you can understand that there's a lot for me to process.
During the 4-week trial, the Hollywood star was described by prosecutors as a sexual bully who allegedly groped 3 men. The defense insisted the incidents had been reimagined with a sinister spin. Spacey called himself a big flirt who had casual, indiscriminate sexual encounters.
Every element of the case was picked over both on social media and by the traditional media. And so any challenges or problems or mistakes that had been made would have been jumped upon.
The actor's world began to fall apart in 2017 when an onslaught of sex abuse allegations began to surface against him during the Me Too movement. Spacey was booted from House of Cards, and aside from some small projects, he's had little work as an actor in 6 years. Tearful during this court victory, his second since beating a $40 million lawsuit last fall brought by actor Anthony Rapp.
I think that Kevin Spacey will be able to put this behind him, and I suspect he'll be snapped up by Hollywood producers.
Spacey had viewed this London case as a chance for redemption in his career. The not guilty verdict comes on his 64th birthday. Heather Butts, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead. Startling claims of alien bodies and secret crash sites probed by the U.S. Congress. Highly anticipated testimony has further heightened the intrigue around extraterrestrial life. A former military intelligence officer says the U.S. has a secret program to retrieve crashed UFOs. CTV's John Vanelli-Rao on the contentious claims.
When it comes to UFOs and allegations of a government cover-up, the latest one's a doozy, coming from a former U.S. Air Force intelligence officer.
So help you God.
Appearing before Congress and making the claim that America has not only known about crashed UFOs since the 1930s, he says it's long had them in its possession.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
UAP, or unidentified aerial phenomena, is what the military calls UFOs. David Grush was part of a task force looking into them and says his claim is based on interviewing more than 40 witnesses.
Have you seen the spacecraft? I have to be careful to describe what I've seen firsthand and not in this environment, but I could answer that question behind closed doors.
Grush making the extraordinary claim the bodies of pilots were also recovered.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
The hearing saw both Democrats and Republicans question 2 other former military officers.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Including a Navy pilot who in 2004 chased a UAP over the Pacific, moving abruptly and saying whatever it was, it could pose a threat to national security.
For its part, the Pentagon denies having a top-secret crashed UFO program.
NASA's also been looking into UAPs, but says so far it's seen 0 evidence of extraterrestrials. As for Grush, he says he's faced retaliation for being a whistleblower and offering to provide lawmakers more information if it's in a private setting. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Team Canada moved a big step closer to advancing to the next round of the Women's World Cup in Australia today with a victory over Ireland. Adriana Leon's second-half goal snapped a 1-1 tie and sent the Canadians home with the win. And a reminder that Canada's next game against Australia will be on CTV and TSN on Monday. Our coverage begins at 5 a.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. After the break,
I go out every night and sleep all day.
remembering Sinead O'Connor.
Your love.
Her voice was unmistakable, and it sent her to the top of the charts. Tonight, the music world is mourning the loss of Irish singer Sinead O'Connor. CTV's Melanie Nagy on the talented performer who at times also courted controversy.
A haunting song about heartbreak and loss, emotions Sinead O'Connor felt deeply and experienced firsthand throughout her life. The singer from Dublin burst onto the music scene back in 1987, releasing her first album in her early 20s. Her unique voice and curious style instantly captivating.
Over the next few years, she just became this unbelievable talent.
While O'Connor had several popular songs, it was her rendition of Prince's Nothing Compares to You that was her biggest hit. The song made her a superstar, but it was short-lived.
Immensely talented, but for whatever reason, just couldn't hold it together.
In 1992, while on Saturday Night Live, O'Connor ripped a photo of Pope John Paul II, protesting the cover-up of sexual abuse in the Catholic Church before it was widely publicized.
So bold and brave to alert the world to global systemic child abuse.
But her brazen move was met with backlash. She was booed during concerts, her records destroyed, and her career derailed. It didn't, however, stop her activism.
She talked about the LGBTQIA movement. She talked about the importance of discussing mental health issues.
O'Connor was open about her mental health struggles, and after spending time in treatment, she converted to Islam. But there was more heartache last year when her son died by suicide at age 17.
And you know, that term tortured genius actually is applicable to somebody like Sinead.
O'Connor released 10 studio albums. The talented, unapologetic, and boundary-pushing artist passed away at age 56. Melanie Nagy, CTV News, Vancouver.
What a voice. That's a snapshot of this Wednesday for all of us at CTV National News. Good night.